I met him when I was just 17. You know, that magical age when everything feels like it's straight out of a romance novel. We were young, carefree, and hopelessly in love, or so I thought. For a long time, things were perfect. We were that couple everyone envied, always laughing, always together, the kind of love story people write about. But like any good story, there was a twist. It was at some random party where he made out with another girl. That moment felt like someone had ripped my heart out of my chest, stomped on it, and handed it back to me with a casual, "Oops, my bad." We almost broke up right then and there, but love, oh, the foolishness of young love, convinced me to work things out, and we did. We patched up the cracks, smoothed over the rough edges, and kept on going, stronger than ever, or so I thought. We dated for 6 long years before he finally popped the question. I was over the moon, blinded by the shiny ring on my finger and the promise of forever. We got married and, like many newlyweds, decided to enjoy our first year together before trying for a baby. Everything was smooth sailing. No marital issues, no dark clouds on the horizon, just blissful ignorance. But life has a funny way of kicking you when you least expect it. When we decided to start a family, that's when the storm started brewing. Months went by and nothing. My heart sank every time I saw that negative test result. We tried and tried and tried until we finally sought help. And that's when we were hit with reality that neither of us could naturally conceive. IVF became our only hope, a process that tested not just my body, but our relationship. It was grueling, emotionally draining, but when our daughter was born, every tear, every moment of doubt felt worth it. She was our miracle, our light after the storm. But then, just 2 months after our daughter's birth, the ground beneath my feet began to crack. It was an ordinary day when he asked if he could take my car to visit a friend in a town 40 miles away. No big deal, right? Just a casual visit, or so he said. On his way there, he wrecked my car, totaled it, actually. My heart skipped a beat when I got the call. All I could think about was whether he was okay. The car, well, it didn't matter. Not as much as him. But that was just the beginning of the nightmare. A few days later, out of the blue, my aunt called. The kind of call you don't expect. The kind that makes your stomach drop before you even hear what's being said. She told me she heard rumors. Rumors that when he crashed the car, he wasn't on his way to see a work friend. He was on his way to see another woman. Let's call her Laura. Now, Laura wasn't just some random girl. She was old enough to be our mother. The kind of woman you never even see as a threat because, well, why would you? Her son was just a year younger than us, for crying out loud. My mind raced. My hand shook as I grabbed the phone. I had to know. I had to see for myself. And there it was, staring me in the face. Messages, photos, the undeniable proof that my husband, the father of my child, was having an affair with Laura. My heart shattered into a million pieces as I confronted him, told him I was going to expose him to Laura's husband, and oh, was he furious. But that's not all. At this point, I should mention that my husband was a functioning alcoholic. It was a weekend, so of course he'd been drinking all day. That night after the confrontation, I was exhausted. I fell asleep, hoping the nightmare would end, that I'd wake up and realize it was all just a bad dream. But instead, I woke up around 3 a.m. to the terrifying sensation of his hands around my neck. He was choking me. I fought him off with every ounce of strength I had left, gasping for air, tears streaming down my face. Somehow I managed to call the police, but they did nothing, absolutely nothing. They didn't even make him leave the house that night. You'd think that'd be enough to walk away, right? But no, I was so desperate to fix things, to make our marriage work, that I suggested therapy. If he wanted to make things right, he needed to agree to therapy. And he did, at first. He found a therapist, we went to a few sessions, and he even stopped drinking for a while. But, as you might have guessed, it didn't last. He thought he was cured, that the therapy was unnecessary because he'd stopped drinking. But he hadn't. He just hid it better. The drinking continued, and with it, the anger. He shattered the windshield of my car one night in a fit of rage. That was my breaking point. I kicked him out, told him we needed to separate for 6 months. During those 6 months, I thought I saw improvement. He seemed to be getting better, more stable, more responsible. So I let him move back in, hoping we could work things out for the sake of our daughter, who is now 1 year old. But as they say, history has a nasty habit of repeating itself. Not long after he moved back in, I found messages to Laura again. The same woman, the same betrayal. I was devastated, but for the sake of our daughter, I kept trying to make it work. Then, a few months later, a miracle happened. I got pregnant with our second child. No IVF this time, just pure natural luck. I was overjoyed, thinking maybe this was a sign that things would finally turn around. Maybe we were meant to be together after all. But life wasn't done with me yet. Just 3 months into my pregnancy, when I was barely 12 weeks along, I got another message, this time from a man in our town. He told me his wife, let's call her Janice, was having an affair with my husband. Janice, who worked at our local gas station, someone I barely knew but saw almost every day, I couldn't believe it. I had barely let my husband out of my sight. Yet here it was, undeniable proof of another affair. When I confronted him, he hit me. I was too scared, too disillusioned to call the police this time. What good would it do? They'd done nothing before. I kicked him out again and waited 4 months before finally filing for divorce. The divorce was finalized just 2 months before my second baby was born. I allowed him to be there for the birth, to help me bring our son home. For the next 3 years, we tried to co-parent. He got better with his drinking, only went out when I was with him, and for a while, it seemed like maybe we could make this work. Not as husband and wife, but as parents. But paranoia is a powerful thing. One day, I decided to check his phone, just to be sure. And there it was yet again. He had slept with one of my best friend's cousins, a girl 10 years younger than us, someone we had watched grow up. And if that wasn't enough, he had been messaging my friend, trying to start something with her too. My heart broke all over again, but this time something snapped. When I confronted him, he broke my arm. Even with a broken arm, I tried to fight him, tried to beat the anger out of him, but it wasn't just him I was angry at. It was myself, for letting this go on for so long, for giving him so many chances, for not walking away the first time he hurt me. I became severely depressed, lost 15 pounds in the process, and trust me, I wasn't overweight to begin with. I look in the mirror now and I don't recognize the person staring back at me. I don't know what's wrong with me, why I couldn't let him go. Even after everything he did, all the therapy in the world hasn't been able to fix what he broke inside me. He was never a big contributor to the household, never really helped me around the house, and yet I stayed. I know I sound stupid for giving him so many chances, for not walking away sooner. I know I shouldn't have ever married him. But it's so hard to move on from someone you once loved with all your heart, even when they've done nothing but break it over and over again. So here I am, trying to pick up the pieces, trying to figure out how to move on, how to finally let go of the person who's caused me so much pain. And maybe, just maybe, by telling this story, I'll find the strength to do just that. This woman found out that her mom seduced her husband and decided to have an affair with him. Truly a crazy story. Check out this video to find out the details.